Hello, okay, we are back. Now we are going to see the second part of partial fraction techniques. Last time we have seen the case where we have the factor in our denominator as a linear function and linear repeated function. Okay, let me write here. This is a linear factor or linear without repetition. And here we are going to have a linear with repetition. Because you have the power of k there. Okay, now in this video we are going to focus on the factor of quadratic. So basically here we are going to see we are going to have a quadratic factor. Okay, and as we see here, this is actually repeated. This is actually non-repeated. And here we can see that is actually a repeating function. Or repeated function. Or repeated factor. Okay, if we want to see the difference between linear and quadratic factor, we can see that this is a linear factor whereby the power of your x at most is 1. And here the highest power of your variable x is 2. So you can see that we are going to deal with a quadratic function. So in order for us to deal with a quadratic function, our numerator will be ax plus b. It's no longer a single value. If you see here linear, we are going to have a single a, b, c. But here, in our case, when we deal with a quadratic factor, we are supposed to use ax plus b. Okay, let us see the specific example on how to decompose a big factor into a partial fraction. We can continue with the example number 9 here. Or maybe we can start with number 8 first. Okay, let us see here the denominator. So if you want to focus on the denominator right now, we can see that this part x is your linear factor. But now when we look into the value of x squared plus x plus 7, here we can consider it as our quadratic factor. But we need to be very careful here, because sometimes our quadratic factor can be further factorized, which is you can try to put it into a simple factor, which is we can try to make it as a linear factor by using a factorization techniques. So if you can factorize it, basically we cannot assume this part as our quadratic factor. So let us try to see whether we can factorize the x squared plus x plus 7. Okay, now let us check whether we are going to have a real factor or not for the x square plus x plus 7 equals to 0. So by using the formula of b square minus 4ac, let us see whether we are going to have a value that is more or equals than 0 or value is less than 0 there. So the value of b now is equals to 1 power of 2 minus 4 a. Here the coefficient of your x square is 1 and the value of c is 7. So if we try to calculate here, the value are supposed to be 1 minus with 4 times 7 should be 28. Where we are going to get negative 27. So over here we can say that the value of b square minus 4ac is actually less than 0, which is you will never get the real factor. So here you can actually consider the x square plus x plus 7 here as your quadratic factor. Since you cannot factorize it, become a real part. Okay, we have determined the value of x here as your linear factor, linear, and the value of x square plus x plus 7 here is as our quadratic factor. So in order for us to put it into a partial fraction or decompose it into partial fraction, what we are supposed to get here is that we are going to get a linear there, which is enough with a single constant divided by x. But here, like I told you, since we are dealing with a quadratic, if you look back into our table, we are supposed to use ax plus b. So here what we can see, we can replace the value here become ax plus b over x squared plus with x plus 7. But wait, if you want to find the value of a later, because after this our process is supposed to find the value of each constant that we have here, we cannot get the same value as a and a here. So in order for us to eliminate that problem, what we are supposed to do, we are going to change this constant into b. So we are supposed to get here bx. And since we got b here, we are going to change it into c. So we are supposed to get here bx plus with c. So then we are going to have a different value or different constant for each of your numerator. Okay, now let us see on how to deal or how to find the value of a, b, and c. So next we are supposed to find what is the value of a, what is the value of b, and what is the value of our c. Okay, I think it's almost 10 minutes my video, so I will end my video now, and we are going to see in the next video on how to find the value of a, b, and c. You can try by your own ways and try to look the solution later.